Here's actually a bit of a prequel to our previous video when we just got back from the Cook Islands. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're going to the tropics, especially leaving from New Zealand and taking their big gun that they've got set up for shooting big pelagics, is you don't test it out before you go. As you might have seen in our previous video, you get super limited chances sometimes at the big fish that you're trying to target. So you want to make sure that you practice with your gun before going so you're accurate with it. And this applies not just to going to the tropics or overseas, but if you plan on targeting a big marlin or a big tuna in New Zealand as well. As it turned out, even though it was the middle of winter, we got onto some nice kingfish right on the coast. I've got it on a breakaway system, which you're more likely to use with your wooden setup, so you don't get your wooden gun dragged through the reef, or you don't have to worry about any parts of your gun breaking. Reducing the joining points on your setup when targeting big fish is a great idea. Tried to balance this hatch Rhino as nicely as I can. It's got 3 14mm rubbers on it and an 8mm hardened stainless steel shaft. The balance of the gun is very nice, and it's actually very easy to shoot with, as you'll see through the video. But it pays to take your gun out, test it a few times before you go and target that one big fish. The last thing you want to do is put yourself in a good situation with a big pelagic fish and clean miss it. I'm starting to reduce the size of the prey that I'm shooting, and I just shot just a small goatfish that we plan on eating, and by mistake hit a small sweep as well. As you'll see, even for a big gun, the recoil is minimum, which makes it so much nicer to shoot with, and even a good option for shooting big kingies here in New Zealand. Another goatfish adds to the catch. Here's just quickly me reloading the gun with the breakaway setup. The hatch Rhino's got an enclosed track, so it makes it a lot easier to load. See how it's running back, hooking on my line release, back on the front, and then I've got a gun bungee here that hooks on. When I go overseas, I'll have a bungee clip to that, but just for here, I've just got a light float line. There was plenty going on, lots of bait fish around, so it was no surprise that there was a few kingfish floating about. Some nice panty-sized snapper started cruising in from all the commotion of shooting the other fish. Also some small Trevally. These small Trevally at long range would be a good test to see how I'm shooting with the gun. I've downgraded now to our 130 carbon fibre gun we're taking, and that's effectively like a small gun that we'd be using when we're overseas in the tropics. I've got to figure out a way here how I'm going to shoot this John Dory without dampening the spear on a rock. Obviously not a difficult shot, but it's hard to resist a nice John Dory like that. Hopefully you're looking at heading to the tropics soon. If you are, you want to be sure that you're taking the right spear guns for your trip. Especially for us New Zealanders, we just got to be aware that the spearfishing we're going to encounter overseas or targeting a really big pelagic fish, you're going to use different gear. So you want to get that gear early before your trip and test it out. Good luck!